We welcome you into Week 8 of the Mike Turner Show. Hello, everyone. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner, as the Eagles fall in a heartbreaker on homecoming, 31-21 to the North Greenville Crusaders. Mike, a game where 2 weeks ago we had a lot to talk about the offense. Season highs for yards. The pendulum swings back the other way. Season lows for yards and rush yards. What happened from over the course of a week, and what did North Greenville do to slow down the Eagles to 283 yards of total offense?
Really, they didn't do anything that was unexpected. They didn't do anything that we didn't practice against. It was just about execution. We got attacked more at the line of scrimmage than we were the attackers. And in an option offense, that's exactly what happens. We were getting neutralized way too many times instead of getting movement. And if you don't get the movement, we can't get backs on the track. We can't get backs going upfield. And so those 4 and 5 yard, 6 yard plays were becoming 2 and 3. And then that just puts you in a hole on offense when you're looking at 2nd and 7 or 3rd and 6 or something like that.
It was something, too, where the chunk yardage plays didn't come to fruition either. You had the 2 long pass plays to Dorian Miller, grabbed a 53-yarder to set up your first touchdown and scored on a 76-yarder. Outside of that, your only play that went for more than 10 yards was a 12-yard run to Jared Dillingham. Was that just a byproduct of being in 2nd and long, 3rd and long? Oh,
absolutely it was. And, you know, you don't want to stray away from what you know you do well. You've got to come out and do some things on first down a little bit different, and we did that. And when we were, we had the slant pass, the play action pass there 2 or 3 times, and we just didn't get it completed. If we get it completed, it's not a first down, it's probably another touchdown. But it gets back to the line of scrimmage. It gets back to that. That's what it's all about in this offense. That's what it's all about on defense at the same time. And we've got to do a better job of controlling the line of scrimmage, of getting movement. We're going to play Tusculum, and probably we'll see the same type of look somewhere in that area. But again, it was not anything we didn't see. We just didn't get it executed. And we've got to get back on track in a hurry. We've got to get this one behind us. Gosh, I watched the video this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I know how it looks. So I know those kids are going to view that when they see it tomorrow. And, we'll look at that one. We'll make corrections. Hopefully we make stronger wheels and more determination that's not going to not let that happen to us again.
Carson-Newman falls on homecoming to the North Greenville Crusaders, 31-21. We'll break down the first half after these messages on the Mike Turner Show. Back on the Mike Turner Show as Carson-Newman falls on homecoming to North Greenville, 31-21. Mike, a first half where you are up at the break by 4. What was the key with some big plays to set the tone, going over the top to Dorian Miller to set up a couple touchdowns in the first half?
Well, the coverage-wise, the way they were trying to play us in coverage, by their alignment, you knew the type of coverage that you were getting and how you wanted to attack them. And we were very fortunate that both times we hit it to him, wide open. The one down here for a touchdown, I saw him bobble it, and I went, no, man, that can't happen. And that's like, your life going in front of you there, and you see that bobble, but he brings it back in and goes and scores, which was a hallelujah. I just wish we'd have got 2 or 3 or more of those completed on the quick slant to him off of the play action, and that would have got us a little relief in there where we needed it.
You talked about letting this one, washing the taste out of your mouth. How do you as a coach prevent this game from beating you twice?
Well, as a coach, you got to sell your kids tomorrow, and we were fortunate that we took them to church today in Morristown. They were there together, and I want to brag on them. There was a football team that had a tough day yesterday, but rallied this morning and was in church together and had a great worship time together. They're up there eating right now together. Time is always on the side of young guys. It's tougher on coaches, I promise you. But we've got to get them to where they know, hey, this is where we are at this time right now. This is the way we've got to play, and just call on them and also get to where they know they're growing up some. Okay, they're growing up. It may have been the 8th game, or this may be the 8th game or whatever, and the 9th game, and you still you want to see them mature. You want to see them move up as far as football IQ and some of those things. We made some mistakes Saturday there with a football IQ part that don't need to happen.
As classic a battle of field position, I think, as you've had this season. You take away North Greenville's opening drive started on their 1 yard line. You take away that one, their average starting field position was on the plus side of the 40.
Absolutely.
How much did special teams play into that?
Well, it plays a lot into it. I mean, offensively, of course, you need to make first downs to put yourself in a position that you either kick a field goal, score a touchdown, or you can punt them down that way. But, special teams are about field position. It's about flipping the field. And we want to keep them backed up the 30-yard line and inside of that and make them go 65, 75 yards, 80 yards, those type of things. And we had them stopped on one drive, I think, 3 or 4 different times on third and long, and we let them escape, and I think they ended up scoring on that drive. But for the most part, our defense played very, very well. They played hard. We just got to, and in the special teams, we had some breakdowns, obviously some mistakes that were made that still end up biting us.
Carson-Newman was up at the halftime break, 14-10 on the Crusaders. We take a gander at those first half highlights.
Go that look again to the right. Trips bunch to the right side of the line. Evans takes. Option to the right. Evans keeps it at the 5, angling to the right. Hands to the sky. Evans is in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Derek Evans knew he had the score 3 yards before he hit pay dirt. Reached his hands skyward and gets a heft up by his center, Jordan Seal, in celebration after the 9-yard score. It's Evans' 9th touchdown of the season, and the Eagles with a 6-0 lead and 3:42 to play in the first. 2nd and 2 Crusaders, right hash at the Eagle 10. Hunter in the pistol. Snap at the shoulder. Hunter will keep it left side. He's hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss by the ankles by Brian Bembry back to the 14. Good surge and touchdown run. 7-3 Eagles lead with 11:26 left in the second. Evans takes on 2nd and 6. Wants the out and up along the right sideline to Miller. Miller, a juggling grab at the 45. Miller on his horse down the right sideline. See you later. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Miller, a right hand extended to the sky as he raced over the goal line. And the Eagles dial up a 76-yard pass to Dorian Miller. He's up over 100 yards on the day. And Carson-Newman has a 13-3 lead with 11:15 left in the second quarter. You red-clad North Greenville fans across the way as well, under sunny skies as the Crusaders move right to left. On 3rd and 12, Hunter from the gun. Throws it to the left sideline. That is incomplete to Robbie Brown. Des Farrell broke off the man he was covering. Saw the ball coming to Brown and leaps up and knocks it away to force the incompletion. Holding Carson-Newman to just 59 yards rushing. Eagles would have to do it through the air. Hunter in the pistol, takes the snap on 2nd and 6, hands off straight ahead Scott. Scott bursts through a hole for a first down and pushes the pile down to the 40-yard line before his progress is finally stopped by Saheem Stupart, and there it is. Career tackle 282 for Saheem Stupart, now tied with Crusaders, trying to make this a single-score game once more, though. Brown in motion as Hunter takes the snap, slips a screen to Brown. Brown trying to set the edge, breaks across the 5, splits 2 defenders, and hustles into the end zone. Touchdown, North Greenville. Arterbridge and Williams bounced off one another as they were trying to knock down Robbie Brown.
Those are the first half highlights. Eagles up on the Crusaders 14-10 at the break before falling 31-21 on homecoming. Mike, a first half that really a strange feel to the half. You had the lead, but more than half of your total offensive output came on the big plays to Miller. What was the mood in the locker room like at the halftime break?
Well, it was a little bit bizarre. It was like, scoreboard-wise, you were in control, but as far as us moving the football, we weren't in control. We were having to rely on the big play, and gosh, you want a big play anytime you can get it, but you like to get some big plays just out of fundamentally executing the offense and running the option. And we got them on the board and worked hard about making sure everybody was settled down and go, hey, this is what we practice, this is what they're doing, nothing's different. Just go execute, and get it done. So when we went back out, got them stretched well, they moved around well. It looked like we were ready to go. But it's still a matter of growing up. It's still a matter of believing in what you're doing and not letting your eyes be anywhere else. Just keep your eyes on your job. Focus on that part.
No, it comes in a loss, but Saheem Stupart, 11 tackle day, the 17th double-digit effort of his career, and he passes a milestone. Now with 289 career tackles, 7th place on the all-time tackle list belongs to him alone. Bypasses Chuck Prophet, one of the best players to ever suit up for Carson-Newman. What's that mean to you? You've witnessed a lot of the guys on that top tackle list play, that Saheem has inserted himself into this.
Well, it tells you two things. It tells you, number one, what kind of young man he is, how far he's grown, how far he's come along as a leader, but as a guy that cares about people. Okay, he genuinely has a care about other guys, and I tell you what else, he cares about this football team. But it also tells you that we've got some defensive linemen that are keeping people off the linebacker so he can make tackles. When you see where your safety and your corners are being the leading tacklers, that's a little nerve-wracking. So you would hope that the linebackers are going to be the leading tacklers. But our kids up front have done a good job of keeping people off of him, changing the level of the attack. But we're very, very proud of Saheem.
How instrumental, you don't have a lot of seniors, but how instrumental is a guy like him to helping you overcome this loss, making sure that it doesn't come back to bite you next week against Tusculum?
Well, I talked to a few of them a while ago in church when we got done before I left to come back down here. And, and that's a part we talked a minute a while ago, but, how a coach approach this is you make sure that those kids understand there's so many positive things that they're doing. There's so much ground that they've made up as a football team from a year ago. There's so much hope in the future of what they got being as young as we are on this football team. And that you want to be able to approach it to where, like, hey, correct it, fix it. Hey, you know how important it is to just doing your job, but also know that you have that faith and you have a belief they can get it done.
Carson-Newman falls to the North Greenville Crusaders on homecoming. We'll break down the second half after these messages on the Mike Turner Show. Back on the Mike Turner Show as Carson-Newman falls on homecoming to North Greenville 31-21. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside the Eagles head man, Mike Turner. Mike, you lose on homecoming, but some special stuff happens on that day. We were talking about it during the break. Alums come back to form the cross. Probably at least 50 by my count watching from up on high. Just how special is it that some former players make their return to Mossy Creek and get involved on the field with something like that?
Well, I think a lot of those guys knew that. They helped set it up with a couple of our assistant coaches, and they were excited. But we drew a lot of them in there that maybe didn't know they were going to be in the cross. And you talk about something now that those guys remember their days at Mossy Creek. They remember being an Eagle. But gosh, to be able to go be a part of that cross, whether they were jogging, walking, or shuffling, and we had all three levels in there. But it was great to see those guys and the smile on it. But more importantly, it was great to see the response of our kids. They were fired up about those guys being there.
Second half, a few 3-and-outs in the third quarter. You finally get the offense on track with a pretty substantial drive in the fourth quarter. What changed from the third to the fourth that let your offense rumble down the field and make it a field goal game?
Boy, if I knew that right off the bat, baby, I could make a lot of money. We were I think a sense of urgency for one thing, that they knew right then it was down and dirty and we had to do something with it. And they responded well with that. We got to have that sense of urgency before we get into a position with our back to the wall. We need to play some football games where we got a chance to put some folks away, and we've got to get to that point as a football team. And it may take us a while, but we're going to get to that point.
I don't want to use this as an excuse because you've battled through stuff before, but the injury bug dinged you again. You were without Darvier DeBose on Saturday. Stokes Rowe went down with an injury, one of your top offensive linemen. Just how much did that affect things against the Crusaders, or did it affect things?
Well, sure it does, but we're never going to allow that to be part of the thought process in this program. It's next man up, and praise the Lord, we've had a lot of next man ups this year. That's a good thing, and those kids have responded good, and they're going to keep responding well. There's everybody, the old coaching cliche, you're one snap away from playing. Well, this year the way it looks, you're one snap away from starting. So we've got to have people that prepare themselves during the week mentally. They do that physically, but you've got to do it emotionally and mentally to have yourself ready to play. We got this time of year, everybody's got kids that are dinged and banged up a little bit. I should say end of October, everybody's in that situation. Your maturity-wise, how you play through that, heart-wise, how you play through that, and I like the hearts of these kids. I just want to try to up that maturity level a little bit.
You late game scenario, frustrating final couple possessions there. A roughing the kicker extends a North Greenville drive, and then Tavion Rory fields a punt at the 1, ends up fumbling it, and North Greenville seals the deal on that play. How do you use those moments as teachable moments moving forward?
Well, those moments are game changers because we don't rough the punter. We get the football with 3 minutes to go. So they get the first down, and they drive it, and now they've eaten up the clock where it's down to 1 minute. And bless his heart, he made a mistake fielding the ball inside the 10-yard line. You should never field it inside the 10-yard line. Tavion's a great kid, and he's come along and done some great things since he's been forced to get into that as a punt returner because of injuries to those guys. So it's not one mistake. It's I told those kids in the locker room yesterday, sort of like when Jesus told the crowd, who wants to throw the first stone about making a mistake? We don't have anybody with a pebble in their pocket. I know that. So we made enough mistakes yesterday that there's plenty to go around, but we've got to get back with our eyes on the prize. Get ready to play a team that's going to come in here highly motivated, Tusculum, to play us. They beat us last year in overtime up there. So, here's a chance to take it and go be 6-3, and then you've got one more conference game left and see how you are.
Carson-Newman falls to North Greenville 31-21. We'll take a look at those second half highlights.
Backs behind Evans, now Dillingham in motion to the wide side left. Evans back to pass, he's blitzed, sacked, ball out. Studdy Vance knocked it free. It's picked up by the Crusaders. Return man brings it inside the 15, and he's brought down at the 13. Johnny Birch recovered the fumble, and North Greenville, with some sudden change, can deliver a major blow here.
Spending a lot of time mixing things up.
1st and 10, North Greenville, right hash at the Eagle 15. Out of the pistol, Hunter takes, rolling the pocket right, throwing right into the end zone. That is intended for Rooks, and he brings it in. Touchdown, North Greenville. In the middle of the blue on the right-hand side of the end zone, Rooks grabs it 2 yards deep in front of Des Farrell. Hunter in the pistol, takes the snap, looks to the right, throws a jump ball. Mason Sanders along the right side of the end zone, incomplete. Sanders had it in his hands, but Noah Hill punched his right hand through the football to dislodge it from Mason Sanders and prevent the touchdown. An incompletion, and it's 2nd and 10. Carson-Newman 14. Hunter in the pistol. Who's the sidecar left? Scott behind him. It's a handoff on a stretch play to Scott right side. Scott is wrapped up by Tamoris Coates, finished off by Antonio Henderson, and he loses 4 yards back to the 44. Exceptional pursuit on the stretch play to the right, 2nd and 14. One man in the backfield. Evans takes, quarterback sneak. Evans spins in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Derek Evans, his 10th rushing touchdown of the season, brings Carson-Newman back within a touchdown. It's 24-20. 7:21 left in the fourth quarter. Finally, an offensive possession for the Eagles that ends in points. Got it 3rd and 3 from the left hash at their own 34 with a 3-point lead in hand and 3:09 to play in the fourth. Snap back, play fake. Hunter rolling the pocket right, looking to throw. Hunter hurls it. Incomplete. Broken up sensationally by Antonio Henderson, who lays out to knock it away before it can get to Bobby Foos. Unreal play by Antonio Henderson.
Yeah, that was spectacular from Henderson.
7:20 off the clock. Time, the biggest enemy of Carson-Newman now. Snap back. Eagles only rush 2. Foos gets off a dandy. Rory is going to field this at his own 1-yard line. Rory running into the end zone. Rory finally gets out. The ball's knocked out of his hands. North Greenville recovers it, and the Crusaders burst into the end zone for a score. Jacob Harper, unbelievable.
Those are the second half highlights as the Eagles fall to North Greenville 31-21 on homecoming. When we return on the Mike Turner Show, it's time for our Eagle Spotlight. That heads your way after these messages. Welcome back on the Mike Turner Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. Time now for our Eagle Spotlight. And this week, Danielle Whaley shines it on converted offensive lineman Hayden Hester.
Hayden Hester came to the Carson-Newman football program in 2015 with his heart set on being a member of the defensive line. This season, he made a move he did not expect to make, moving over to the offensive line. His journey to the other side of the ball was one that he thought he would never endure again after playing both lines in high school. The same can be said for the injuries he faced, starting with a back injury his freshman year.
I was deadlifting, and I ruptured my L3, L4 disc in my back. So, and went a little bit of that, tried to go with it, but when it happened, I felt a pop when it first happened, and it just started, the pain started going into my leg and everything like that, and that's when, I said, I got to get this checked out. And I tried to play with it, but it wasn't working. It kind of just got worse.
Hester sat out the rest of fall before slowly making his way back into spring practice until he faced a second injury.
And the first week of actual spring practice went good. I was getting back into it. It was slow, but I was definitely improving every day. And then we had a spring scrimmage that Saturday, and just got rolled up, and then I had to have knee surgery after that. But coming back from that, I was not the same. I was slower, I was weaker. I felt like I would be 100% like that, but it didn't. That's not the way it happened. And I tried to have coaches and trainers tell me that hey, this is normal. Don't be upset about it. This is normal. It just takes time to get back into it.
After sustaining a head injury in his second year, he was able to obtain a second medical red shirt. Heading into his third season with the team, head coach Mike Turner suggested Hester's move to the offensive line. Since joining the unit headed by first-year coaches Kevin Day and Josh Turner, Hester has used his defensive experience to make himself known.
It's hard sometimes for offensive line guys to play with an attitude because they've always just been kind of good guys. That's just kind of the nature of what an offensive lineman is. And you find your best offensive linemen are typically the ones who figured out how to play offensive line like they're playing defense. And coming from defense, he has that and he brings that, and so he's able to have that attitude and that edge.
He's a guy who we all know has been dealing with some injuries and continuing to deal with the pain of some injuries, and he comes out and gives you everything he's got regardless of what's bothering him that day.
While he is a freshman on the field, his junior standing in the classroom highlights the Eagle Scholar as a mature role model for a youthful O-line.
Even though he still has this year and 3 whole more years of eligibility left, he is 21 years old, so he is one of in the world of college football, one of your older players. So there is some maturity there that he is able to bring to the offensive line, which is much needed, again, because of that side of the ball. In this position, we have so many young guys.
When you have a negative attitude or a negative outlook on things, you tend to bring other people down, and Hayden's kind of the opposite. He's one of those guys that whether it's a success or a failure, he's fixing it, or if it's a success, he's going to do better than that success the next time. So he's always improving, and that brings those other guys along to have that same attitude. I'm
excited to grow, see how I would be if I wouldn't have been hurt. Yeah, sure, it's not going to be the same, but we can make the best out of it.
Hester says he wants to continue to get better while growing spiritually and physically. He also mentions that trainers like Mike Van Bruggen and Matt Cahoon truly helped him through recovery. While the transition has been difficult, it has been worthwhile, saying, quote, "As long as I'm helping toward the goal that we all have, that's all that matters to me." For the Mike Turner Show, I'm Danielle Whaley.
All right, thank you very much, Danielle. Mike Turner, Hayden Hester. What an interesting little path he's taken to get to this point. Junior in the classroom, but injuries keep him off the field his first 2 years, and starting to make a difference now that he's changed positions and is a member of the offensive line.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It was Hayden had been injured. He was frustrated in that situation that he wasn't able to play. he's done a decent job of handling his weight problem, which he's worked on that, and he'll have to continue to do that. That's going to be a lifelong thing for him. But he's getting to where he's learning what to do and how to do, and he got quite a bit of playing time yesterday, and then probably we'll get a whole lot more this coming week. So we're dependent on him very much. And there's a guy that's a freshman on the field and an Eagle Scholar. So Hayden has got great strength and explosion. He's what you're looking for in a guard, and hopefully we just try to keep growing up his football IQ.
Turn your attention now to the Tusculum Pioneers. You brought it up earlier, lost in overtime to Jerry Odom's crew last season in Greenville. They'll no doubt be coming in ready to wash the taste of a 40-13 loss to Catawba out of their mouths. What sticks out to you about Tusculum's unit this year?
Well, they brought in the transfer quarterback, I think, from Boise State, and he is being very productive for them. I watched them a couple of games earlier against people that we were getting ready to play their defense, and they've got a couple tailbacks that they're going to get the ball to and run them downhill. They're trying to get you outflanked, all right, and they're not pretending in what they're doing. Just here they come. But the quarterback has made quite a bit of difference. I got a couple of receivers that can make big plays on you, and with this guy at quarterback, he's able to get the ball to him.
Mike, pleasure as always. We'll talk to you next week against the Pioneers.
All right, Adam, thanks very much.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. I'm the voice of the Eagles Adam Cavalier. This has been the Mike Turner Show. Thanks so much for watching.